Today we're going to talk about the difference between red iron construction and post frame, so stay tuned. Hi, this is Paul from CountryCraziness.com. If you're interested in tractors, post frame construction, and homesteading, well then you've come to a good place. Why not subscribe, tap the bell, and join in on the conversation. Post frame construction and red iron steel construction can both lead to buildings with large open expanses. But the way they get there is entirely different, and today I just want to cover a few of the points that make them different in the way they're built. I'm not going to be able to cover everything in this video, but if you know of things that make them different from each other or gives one an advantage over the other, then leave it in the comments down below. First, let's talk about cost. When you look on the internet, you find all different kinds of opinions about the difference in building with post frame or red iron. The fact of the matter is there's no way that you can really determine what the cost is going to be until you know exactly how you want to build your building. Red iron construction materials might be more expensive or less expensive at any given time based on where the lumber prices are, which have been very volatile as of late. Another consideration when you're evaluating these two different types of construction is that if you need lumber, you're going to buy it from your local lumber yard and it's going to be delivered to your job site, likely at no charge. On the other hand, if you purchase red iron steel kits, it's going to involve transportation costs to get it to your site, and depending how far away the manufacturer is, it's going to vary the cost of your transportation. The next difference in cost has to do with how you construct the building. Red iron construction requires that you build on top of concrete piers or on reinforced concrete floors. Post frame construction can be built with the posts being put in the ground. Therefore, if you're not going to be using a concrete floor, you can avoid the cost of any concrete at all. The next consideration is ease of building. Now in this conversation, I'm not really talking about smaller buildings like garages where you can take a steel kit or a post frame amount of lumber and construct either one of them with you and your buddies over a weekend or two. I'm talking about larger buildings that have 16-foot or taller ceilings in them. A steel building is going to have pretty heavy members, and it's going to require some heavy construction equipment and really some professionals in order to be able to put it together. With modern techniques on post frame construction, brackets can be mounted and the walls can actually be assembled on the floor and then lifted into place by several individuals. The major need for heavy equipment on post frame construction is lifting the trusses into place, which can be done in a half or one day at the most. With steel construction, you're going to be using heavy equipment on the job site throughout the length of the job. The next consideration is how long does it take to build the building? If you're building a steel building, you could be looking at 3 to 4 months from the time that you order the steel until the building is completed. With post frame construction, it often can be put up in 1 or 2 weeks. When you look at steel, there's obvious advantages in that it won't crack or warp and have any of those kind of problems with varmints. However, it can also rust, and as the coatings are worn off from the original manufacturer of the steel, it is necessary that painting be done in order to maintain the integrity of the steel. Local building codes can also make a difference as to whether or not you can build post frame and red iron steel. One of the other differences in post frame construction versus steel construction is that post frame can be added onto, steel cannot. Post frame can also be attached to existing barns, steel cannot. One of the other considerations with red iron steel is the delay that could be caused if one of the parts is manufactured improperly. You have to wait for the company to rebuild those and ship them back out before the work can be done. Whereas with post frame construction, if there's an error, it's obviously easy to get another piece of lumber and cut it to the length that's desired. One of the biggest considerations when building post frame versus steel is that if you need a large building, steel is going to be able to go to a much larger size. Post frame buildings are normally built to a width of 100 to 120 feet maximum, where steel buildings can be built up to 300 feet wide without having to add any interior columns whatsoever. So it's a mixed bag as to which one's the best situation. As always, it's what the best situation is for your application and your needs.